All right, guys, it's true crime time again. We hope you've had an awesome week so far, and if not, we hope that this brings you a little dark joy. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Taylor.
And this is Pure Malice. Athletes Gone Dark. So we are back today with part 2 of the Rae Carruth case. The former Carolina Panthers wide receiver who hired a hitman to murder his pregnant girlfriend, Cherica Adams.
Not one, but 2 hitmen.
That's right. And actually 3.
Yeah, technically, if we're getting real technical here. I mean, I feel like he hired 2 and had one additional straggler.
He did, and the poor guy didn't even know he was coming.
He didn't even know.
Didn't know he was going to be part of a murder plot.
That's why you don't jump in a car.
I know that's right. Better make sure you get all the details.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we covered Carruth's beginnings, his NFL career, and how he planned the hit. This week we're going to cover the aftermath of the shooting. In the fall of 1999, 25-year-old Rae Carruth felt like his entire life was hanging by a thread.
I mean,
it was.
You do it to yourself.
He did. It was senseless.
Yeah. Wrap it before you tap it.
Exactly.
That was the most unvulgar way I could put that.
No, it was actually pretty good.
I really wanted to be like, sleep pole to hole. You either sleep pole to hole or hole to hole. Only one way will allow you without anything.
Wow. That's new to me. Never heard that.
Mm.
His once promising career as an NFL wide receiver was unraveling, battered by injuries and inconsistent performances. His finances were in shambles after losing millions in what turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. And to top it all off, his ex-girlfriend, Cherica Adams, was 8 months pregnant. The birth of a second child would cost Carruth thousands in child support each month. Because remember, his first son, he already paid $5,500 a month to take care of.
Which that's crazy to me, that amount of money.
And it blew my mind just because it was before he was actually in the NFL.
And in that year. That's a lot of money for that year.
Mm-hmm. It is. Back in the 90s. It was too late to recover his losses from the scam artist. And on the football field, he felt powerless. He couldn't stop his body from breaking down, and just 6 games into the new season, he was sidelined again with yet another injury. His career and his dream of fame were slowly slipping away. There was nothing he could do about the injuries, but there was something that he believed he could do about Cherica's pregnancy. Carruth paid 2 of his so-called friends, Van Brett Watkins and Michael Kennedy, to kill Cherica Adams and their unborn son. Just after midnight on November 16th, 1999, as Rae Carruth watched from his rearview mirror, Watkins and Kennedy ambushed Cherica on a dark, silent road in Charlotte, North Carolina. Watkins fired 5 shots directly into her car, and as soon as the final gunshot rang out, Carruth sped away in his SUV. After checking to make sure that Cherica was dead, Watkins and Kennedy fled the scene too. But against all odds, Cherica Adams survived.
Because they didn't check very well.
Yep, they didn't check at all. They got nervous and left.
I know, we talked about that a little bit last time.
Yeah. Cherica managed to drive onto a nearby residential street, desperately trying to get someone's attention, while she called 911 and told the dispatch what just happened. Within minutes, remix! Within minutes, police cars and an ambulance flooded the area. Cherica was rushed to the hospital. As she was wheeled through the emergency room and straight into surgery, a police officer tried to gather what little information he could. He asked her to confirm what she had said on the phone, that her boyfriend was responsible. Cherica answered without hesitation. It was Rae Carruth. While doctors fought to save Cherica and her baby, the would-be killers began constructing their alibis. Carruth called a girlfriend in Atlanta and casually struck up a conversation. Meanwhile, Watkins, Kennedy, and their passenger, Kennedy's friend, Stanley Abram, drove quietly back towards Watkins' truck. Watkins allegedly considered killing Kennedy and Abram just to eliminate any witnesses. But he had run out of bullets. Scary thought.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So instead, he tossed the gloves he'd worn and the pistol out the window car. Oh. Sorry.
The window car, y'all.
And the
Car window. That's what she really meant.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
The car window.
Yeah, so he tossed the gloves he'd worn and the pistol out of the car window after dropping the others off with instructions to carefully build their alibis. Watkins went straight to Waffle House. Apparently.
That's such a 90s thing.
Really?
The Waffle House.
Waffle House.
That's your alibi? Oh, I was at the Waffle House all night long.
Yeah. I'm just like, how could you even do that after what you just did, you know?
Oh, it makes me think of that janky Waffle House that was on the corner in Weatherford for so long.
That Mimi always liked to go to. Mm-hmm. It's still there and she still likes to go.
I know, it's gross. I can make waffles in my house. That's the Waffle House. Anyways.
So apparently arranging a murder works up an appetite.
For waffles.
Mm-hmm. Carruth continued chatting with the woman in Atlanta as he drove through a late night car wash. Then he headed to the home of, yeah, weird, right? What a weird alibi.
Car wash. All right.
So then he headed to the home of Panther teammate, linebacker Hannibal Naves. Once there, he settled in and played video games, convinced that this would solidify his alibi.
That's like the worst alibi ever, because one, they can track your phone record.
Well, not just that, but you're also not in one place. You're moving around. You had time to do this or that, you know?
Yeah. Two, why wouldn't you just go straight to his house, stay on the phone while you're there, and then, like, that's a better alibi than freaking, I went to my house and I
drove and went to the car wash.
The car wash. And why'd you go to the car wash?
My car needed wash, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I agree with you. It's not a very good thought for an alibi, but we'll see. He's not the smartest.
Well, we can kind of already figure that out by hiring 3 hitmen.
And the ones he chose.
Dumb. Dumb.
So he even made small talk with Nabe's girlfriend, Tanya, about Cherica's pregnancy, emphasizing how excited he supposedly was for the baby's arrival.
Terrible.
He laid it on thick. He even suggested that he might settle down with Cherica. Back at Carolina's Medical Center in Charlotte, Cherica Adams was fighting for her life and for her son's life. Doctors discovered that the bullets had missed her womb, but Cherica had lost massive amounts of blood. Her baby was being deprived of oxygen and was suffocating. Sad. There was no choice. An emergency delivery had to be performed, and with that, Chancellor Lee Adams was born at 1:42 a.m. on November 16th of 1999.
What a cruel reminder of what happened to you.
Your past, yeah. And a past that you had no choice on. Sad. He was 10 weeks premature, but he was alive. Nurses rushed him to the neonatal intensive care unit and placed him on a ventilator as doctors turned their attention back to Cherica. Her parents had been notified while emergency crews raced her to the hospital. Cherica's mother, Sandra, unaware of the full story, believed that her daughter had been the victim of a random shooting. What a shock, you know?
Yeah.
When they arrived, a nurse handed Sandra a photo of her newborn grandson. Chancellor had gone approximately 70 minutes without sufficient blood and oxygen after the shooting, causing irreversible brain damage.
No.
So sad. Just before 2 a.m., Carruth was driving to meet yet another alibi. This time, his ex-girlfriend, Candace Smith, when an unknown number appeared on his pager. Curious, Carruth called it back. On the other end of the line was a distraught Sandra Adams, telling him her daughter had been shot and that his son had been born early. Carruth was stunned to learn that Cherica was alive and even more confused about how her mother had his pager number. Of all things. Like, just a weird thing, you know?
Yeah. Which, I mean, if she had access to his, like, her phone and stuff, you idiot, like, of course she would have that.
True.
Because you save a pager number because you would still call it. Oh, it hit me.
Hit me with your best shot.
Bum, bum.
Hit me with your best shot.
Baby.
So, Carruth.
Oh, sorry. What did Carruth do this time?
Carruth?
What did he do?
He fumbled through an expression of shock and
That's
told
not the
Sandra.
first time he's fumbled.
Definitely not. Wouldn't be the last time either. He fumbled through an expression of shock and told Sandra that he would be at the hospital as quickly as possible.
No thanks. I'll pass.
It comes back to bite him.
Good.
He hung up and sitting alone in his car, panic began to creep in. If he went to the hospital, there was a chance that police already knew that he was behind the shooting. He could be walking straight into an arrest. But if he didn't show up, it would look like an admission of guilt. So he made his choice. Carruth drove back to Hannibal Nave's house, woke Hannibal and Tanya, and told them that Cherica had been shot. He put on a full performance, pretending to be in total shock, and then the three of them drove to Carolina's medical center. He's a true artist here.
Performer.
Yeah,
Performer.
Much better word, yes. When Carruth arrived, Cherica was still in emergency surgery. Unable to face her parents, he slipped into an empty conference room, sat down on the floor, and waited alone, lost in his own thoughts. Everything about Carruth's behavior, from his delayed response to his strangely performative story, to the way that he carried himself at the hospital, made Cherica's parents deeply suspicious. They eventually confronted him directly.
Good for them.
Thank you. Yes.
Good for them.
Agreed. They looked him straight in the eye and asked if he had shot their daughter. Carruth didn't answer right away, which, suspicious.
Yeah.
Instead, he became defensive. How could they even ask him something like that?
Because you did it.
Well, and that's another thing, too. You got defensive right away. You turned it into a question. No. Cherica's parents did not back down, though. Yep. They kept pressing until Carruth finally offered his version of events.
Idiot.
According to Carruth, he and Cherica had gone to the movies, returned to his house, and then gone their separate ways. Hannibal and Tanya eventually left the hospital, and shortly after, Candace Smith arrived to sit with Carruth and offer support.
Which is even crazier. You're going to let your girlfriend show up to your baby mama's.
After just telling people that night that you were thinking of settling down with her, all the things.
Okay.
Yep, idiot. To her, he appeared distraught and anxious as they waited for updates from the doctors. Then, quietly, Carruth said something that stopped her cold. Carruth confessed that he wished Cherica would hurry up and die. That to me is so just
cold. Very cold.
Candace was stunned. The cruelty of the statement was shocking, and it immediately set off alarm bells in her mind. For the first time, she seriously considered that Carruth might be involved. By now, it was around 4 a.m., and police arrived at the hospital to begin their investigation. As investigators spoke with Carruth, they mentioned there didn't appear to be anything stolen from Cherica's car, suggesting that this was not a robbery. As the conversation continued, the alarm bells in Candace Smith's head grew louder. The more she thought about it, the less everything added up.
Yeah. At least she's not a complete idiot.
Yeah, at least she's kind of letting it set in. I feel like especially with celebrities or anyone of that status, people just, meh. They wouldn't, or they just don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
After Carruth finished speaking with the police, he returned to Candace. But now she had questions of her own. She asked him directly if he had shot Cherica Adams. Carruth denied being the shooter, but he admitted something else. He told her that he had been present whenever it happened.
Like, why? Why would you even?
Exactly. Again, just dumb, He said that he fled the scene and drove to his teammate's house. None of it made sense. Why would someone who had just witnessed the mother of his child being shot casually invite an ex-girlfriend over at 1:30 in the morning? That's when Candace realized the truth. Rae Carruth had to be involved. She continued questioning him, and eventually he broke. Carruth confessed to his role in the crime while still trying to justify himself.
You have to be very sick and twisted to, like, try and still justify all of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. It says so much.
Mm-mm-mm.
He claimed he had instructed Van Brett Watkins to shoot Cherica in the stomach to prevent the birth of their son. And he insisted that he wasn't responsible for killing her. In his mind, because he didn't pull the trigger, he wasn't a murderer.
Yeah, but you set it up.
Well, my thing is, you just admitted that you are responsible for trying to kill your own
child.
Unborn son.
Yeah.
That's 10 times worse.
Well, I'm like, he doesn't think that he's a cold-blooded killer because he wasn't behind the trigger, but you were behind the plan, the reason the trigger got pulled.
Yes, you're the mastermind of it all.
Like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's scary to think that people really think that way.
Yeah.
Candace was horrified. The police had strong suspicions from the very beginning that Rae Carruth was likely behind the shooting, but they needed evidence before moving against a high-profile NFL player like Carruth. Not long after Carruth's confession to Candace, investigators returned to the hospital looking for him. They informed Carruth that he needed to come with them. They planned to test his clothes, search his home, and impound his vehicle. Carruth went willingly, while Smith went home in tears. She wanted nothing to do with Rae Carruth ever again.
For good reason.
Meanwhile, Carruth attempted to return to some version of normalcy. He focused on rehabbing his ankle, working towards getting back on the field, and doing his best not to dwell on the investigation unfolding around him.
My thing is, like, how do you just try to return back to normal? Like, okay, just another day.
Again, it says a lot about somebody who's able to just completely, completely disregard the entire thing. Crazy. After orchestrating the shooting of his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Cherica Adams, his new strategy was simple: lay low and hope police wouldn't connect the dots. But deep down, he knew that the clock was ticking.
Yeah. It's probably the only smart thing.
Literally the only smart thought he's had so far. So Cherica Adams had suffered devastating injuries. The bullets punctured her intestines, stomach, and liver. She lost nearly 6 liters of blood, which, for perspective, is about 1.5 times the average person's total blood volume. After hours in surgery, Cherica finally emerged and regained consciousness around 7 a.m. Given the severity of her condition, a homicide detective spoke with her as soon as she was awake. Cherica couldn't speak because of the breathing tubes in her throat and her nose, but she was alert, aware, and she was ready to tell the world exactly what Rae Carruth had done. Cherica Adams used a pen and notepad to answer detectives' questions, carefully writing out what had happened. With every word she scribbled, Rae Carruth moved from suspect to the center of the investigation. Attempted murderer was now officially attached to his name.
Wouldn't that be like premeditated?
Absolutely. But she hasn't died yet.
True.
Cherica described everything in detail. She wrote about how Carruth suddenly stopped in the middle of the road, forcing her to stop behind him. She explained how a third car pulled up, blocking her in, just moments before someone inside that vehicle opened fire, sending multiple rounds straight into her car. Cherica's parents were in the room as their daughter told her story, and with each detail, their anger grew. The realization hit hard. Not only had Carruth helped orchestrate the attack on their daughter and unborn grandson, but he had also sat beside them in the hospital waiting room just hours earlier, pretending to care. Cherica's mother, Sandra, showed her a photo of her newborn son and told her that they had named him Chancellor, just like Cherica wanted. Cherica made one request, and that was that her newborn son's last name be Adams, not Carruth. Yeah, don't blame her there.
No, me neither.
After about 45 minutes, doctors asked her parents to let her rest. They said goodbye to their 24-year-old daughter and stepped out of the room. 10 minutes later, Cherica lost consciousness. 3 hours after that, she slipped into a coma. That was the last time they got to see their daughter. Alive. That's sad. Not alive, but alive and well, you know.
Yeah.
Satisfied with Cherica's statement, detectives left the hospital immediately and set out to find Rae Carruth. They searched Carruth's home and his vehicle, but turned up nothing concrete. So they shifted their focus to his phone records, as Taylor said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Investigators zeroed in on 2 calls specifically Carruth had made in the hours leading up to the shooting. One to Van Brett Watkins, the other to Michael Kennedy. And just like that, the pieces were starting to line up. Only 9 days after the shooting, police had gathered enough evidence to finally make their move. They decided to go after Watkins first, believing that he was the most likely to either flee or fight.
Which is, the smart move.
Investigators tracked Van Brett Watkins to a motel in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he had been living. On the night before Thanksgiving, officers set up surveillance outside his room. Inside, Watkins tried to stay invisible. He watched TV with his girlfriend and avoided any sign of police presence. When officers attempted to call his room, he simply turned off the ringer.
Like, why do you do that?
It's just not a smart move.
Which, I mean, here's the thing. He wouldn't have known it was officers, but you got to say, like, you're paranoid at that point.
Oh, absolutely paranoid.
Like, he's paranoid. That's why he did it. Like, you don't just turn off phone to turn off the phone.
That's right. I agree.
Stupid.
Moron. Eventually, the lead investigator walked up and knocked on his door. And Watkins finally answered. The investigator asked him to come along so that they could have a talk. Reluctantly, Watkins agreed. I'm kind of shocked that he did go so easily, just knowing his background.
Me too. Instead of just being like, nope, I'm trying to run.
Yep.
Like, slide out. No, I'm good. I'm good, bro.
So police took him to the station, and before locking him in a jail cell for the night, they asked him just one question. Was he really willing to risk the death penalty to protect Rae Carruth?
It's a loaded question.
It is. Sorry, but no.
Yeah, heck no.
Nope.
I'm good. Ridiculous.
The next morning, Carruth was still in bed with a brand new girlfriend whenever a loud knock echoed through his home. Yeah, a new girlfriend.
Like, already in bed with somebody else? Cool.
Yep.
You are a piece of work, dude.
Truly. His stomach dropped. He knew exactly who it was. And in one final display of arrogance, Carruth opened the door to police completely naked. Like, why? What is the point? Like, just, I did not like that.
Like, why?
Yes.
Nobody wants to see that, dude. Put some pants on. Like,
yeah, just get dressed. Officers informed him that he was under arrest. Without a trace of emotion, Carruth asked if he could get dressed first. And maybe that's another reason why he did it, to give himself a little bit of time to process.
Like, he would have had to have done it just like for time's sake.
Because I'm like, why else would you do that? So 2 officers escorted him upstairs while he put on clothes. Moments later, he was handcuffed and taken to the police station. There, Carruth was placed alone in a cold interrogation room. And that's when the mask finally slipped.
Can you imagine being the girl in his bed that's like, what are you doing? Why are you getting arrested? And then, like, later on finding out, like, oh, he's arrested on these charges. And be like, what?
Like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
Bad choices. But the thing is, he had so many women. I mean, just constantly. Yeah. And multiple at once. He was never without it.
Like the definition of a player.
Absolutely. And I get, that he didn't maybe have the most stable environment, whenever he was growing up. But for me, I guess I just feel like that would make someone want
something
that
different
in their life later on,
Yeah. But then you get the fame and you get the money, and it's like all that, and you see maybe other players doing the same things. Yeah. And so I understand, but I don't, it doesn't make sense, if that makes sense.
I'm right there with you. Gone was the cool, collected, defiant NFL star. And in its place
was a fearful pussy.
That'll work.
A fearful little bitch.
There we go. I like that better anyway.
Fearful pussy ass bitch.
Punk ass. When local news broke Carruth's arrest, Michael Kennedy wasted no time. He drove straight to the police station and confessed. Kennedy had no loyalty left for Rae Carruth or Van Brett Watkins. In 2 interviews with investigators, the second with his attorney present, he laid out everything. From the moment Carruth first approached him with the plan, all the way through the night of the shooting. Meanwhile, Watkins refused to cooperate. He wouldn't answer questions, offering nothing beyond flat denials of any involvement. Yeah.
Which I'm like, why deny it at this point when you know Carruth is going to say something and there's opportunity for at least 2 other people to come forward and say, I didn't do anything, it was all him.
Especially with his background.
Yeah. Like,
my biggest thing is the very first thing that you said. Like, you know that Carruth is not going to save you.
Like, he is going to fold and he's going to blame you.
Exactly. So the police changed tactics. They brought Watkins into the same interrogation room as Rae Carruth so that the 2 men were face to face. Carruth's shaken, terrified demeanor did exactly what investigators hoped for. At that moment, Watkins realized the truth, that Rae Carruth would sacrifice anyone to save himself.
Yeah.
Watkins was escorted back to his own interrogation room, where detectives had one more surprise waiting for him.
Oh,
guess what that was? They played Michael Kennedy's recorded confession, and in it, Kennedy didn't just talk. He named Watkins specifically as the shooter. That was all it took. Watkins finally broke. I mean, of course he did.
Like, how can he not now that 2 people... Well, one's saying it, but you already saw the other one breaking down in front of you, so it's only a matter of time before it comes out.
That's right. He decided that he wasn't willing to gamble the death penalty for Rae Carruth, and so he told the police everything. The very next day, all 3 men appeared in court. Each was charged with conspiracy, attempted murder, and shooting into an occupied vehicle. Carruth's bail was set at $3 million. His co-conspirators were each given bail of $1.5 million.
What about the other guy, though?
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. Shortly after the charges were filed, the Carolina Panthers announced they were placing Carruth on leave without pay. Somehow, despite his already strained finances, Carruth managed to secure a bondsman. On December 6th, he was released while awaiting trial, but with one chilling condition attached to his freedom. If either Cherica Adams or Chancellor Adams were to die, Carruth would be required to immediately turn himself in. At that point, the charge against him would be upgraded from attempted murder to first-degree murder. And tragically, Cherica Adams' condition was rapidly deteriorating. Cherica was in a vegetative state, and on the morning of December 14th, 1999, her family made the heartbreaking decision to remove her from life support. Before they did, they brought her 3-week-old son, Chancellor, from the neonatal intensive care unit so mother and child could be together one last time. It's like so sad. Later that day, Cherica Adams died. When Charlotte police received word of her death, they immediately moved to rearrest Rae Carruth. But he was gone. Carruth was officially a fugitive. When Carruth learned that Cherica had died, he panicked. Not once did he consider turning himself in, despite agreeing to do so as a condition of his bail.
Like, once again,
Sassy.
I'm like, once again, let's just show your true colors.
Well, and that's my thing is, man, how many times?
Like, my other thing is, like, they're gonna get you. They're going to find you.
With anybody who tries to run, you will be caught. At some point or another, you will be caught.
Even if it's like, you know, there's cases it's 50 years later, but I'm like, you still get caught. Like, there's consequences to actions.
And living life on the run cannot be genuinely like living.
No.
You know, his only thought was to escape.
Which I don't get that.
Me neither.
Like
we said, you're gonna get caught.
Okay, you do you, boo-boo.
He wanted to get out of Charlotte and make it back to Sacramento, California. So he first asked a former girlfriend for help, but she refused.
Yeah, for good reason, dummy. Like,
But again, he finds a way.
I'm sure he did.
Mm-hmm. So Carruth did what Carruth always seemed to do. He found someone who would say yes, and that person was a family friend named Wendy Cole. She was already planning to drive to California to attend cosmetology school, and somehow Carruth convinced her to let him ride in the trunk for the entire 2,500-mile journey.
Like, one, how dangerous, you idiot.
He did not care. He was desperate. Carruth squeezed into the back of Wendy Cole's 1997 Toyota Camry.
Which is probably tiny.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is like it's small for, yeah.
Even though he was a tiny football player.
Yeah, he was like 5'11", but
it's
still.
Like a micro mini for football players.
With him, he brought $4,000 in cash, a few energy bars, and a cell phone. And that's another thing, like, how are you gonna live on the run with $4,000?
It's probably all he had.
And you're probably right, but it's not going to get you very far.
I mean, it would get you much further than it would today.
Well, it would, but
given his
still,
lifestyle and what he liked.
Well, not even that. Just literally, I mean, being on the run, not knowing how long you're going to, continue to do this. I don't know. Around 10 p.m. on December 14th, Cole and Carruth fled Charlotte. By early the next morning, after driving 10 hours and covering 500 miles, they pulled into a motel in Wildersville, Tennessee. Ooh, I thought that was going to be tricky. Okay. During the drive, Cole had spent time on the phone with Carruth listening to his emotional pleas, but she also had time to think. And the more that she considered the possible consequences of helping a fugitive, the more doubt crept in. Did she really want to harbor a man wanted for murder?
Nope, you don't.
Definitely not for you. Taylor's smart, y'all.
Let me just be your reasoning. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Carruth remained in the trunk while Cole went inside to check into a hotel room. Once inside, she did not want any more involvement. She picked up the phone and called Carruth's mother in Sacramento. Carruth's mother then called the bail bondsman, who immediately alerted, who immediately alerted the Charlotte Police Department. And from there, the Charlotte PD contacted the FBI. Just like we knew they would. Later that afternoon, 5 FBI agents arrived at the Best Western in Tennessee to apprehend Carruth. They didn't know exactly where he was, and they didn't know if he was armed, so they had to proceed carefully. The first priority was to get Wendy Cole out of harm's way. An FBI agent went to the front desk and had them call her room, instructing her to come to the lobby due to an issue with her key. Cole complied, and once in the lobby, an agent identified himself and asked where Carruth was. She said he wasn't in the room, but she didn't say where he was. And that's my thing, too. Why are you going to turn him in and then not actually turn him in?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, why are you turning him in, but then you're not going to say where he is? Like, just say he's the trunk of my car.
Just say he's in my car.
Yeah,
they'll figure out real quick he's in the trunk.
He's in the trunk of my car. He can't get out.
Well, the agents searched her room and came up empty-handed. When asked again, an emotional Cole, tears in her eyes, refused to speak.
Like, why?
Instead, she kept glancing at her car keys. Finally, the FBI agents got the hint. Carruth was in the trunk of her car. Cole explained that she did not want him to get hurt and that she didn't want him to know that she had anything to do with turning him in, which I feel like is understandable.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, anonymous.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if Carruth isn't a huge idiot, like, you gotta know.
Oh, yeah, he'll figure it out. I mean, he only knows there's 2 people that it could be.
Yeah.
By the time the FBI agents surrounded the trunk of Cole's car, it was dark outside. They spoke briefly to Carruth, checking that he had no weapons and confirming that he was not suicidal. Then they instructed him to hold his hands up as they opened the trunk. Carruth complied. Exhausted, mentally defeated, and physically drained after 21 hours trapped in the trunk. I'm like, yeah, I bet. But your body was like cramping.
That's on you, man. So that was the worst. Like, at least sit in the back seat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they had stops looking for him, you know?
No.
Anyways, he finally allowed himself to be arrested. For the first time, he would finally face judgment for what he had done to his ex-girlfriend, Cherica Adams, and their unborn son, Chancellor Lee Adams. In just 1 month, 25-year-old Rae Carruth had gone from respected NFL player to murder suspect. By the time he was captured in Tennessee and extradited back to North Carolina, the Carolina Panthers had officially cut him, and the NFL had suspended him indefinitely. Now he faced the toughest challenge of his life, his murder trial. It would take 10 months for the trial to begin. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, the case was complex, made even more complicated by the prosecutor's decision to seek the death penalty for all 4 defendants. Carruth's mother hired a team of attorneys hoping to replicate the Dream Team strategy that had defended O.J. Simpson. While she wasn't able to secure Johnny Cochran, she did hire David Rudolph, a prominent attorney recommended by Cochran's partner. In May of 2000, the lead prosecutor offered all 4 defendants a plea deal, plead guilty to second-degree murder, and avoid the death penalty. Carruth, of course, refused.
Because he's so much better than that. Stupid.
Well, I'm just like, what? You truly are dumb.
Well, here's my thing. You think that you're going to get away with it because you didn't pull the trigger. Like,
that's not how it works,
you're
dude.
still just as guilty and more guilty because, like I said, you devised the plan.
Maybe because of the O.J. Simpson trial, he thought he could get away with it because of who he was. I don't know. Just dumb.
So dumb.
He maintained his innocence and rejected the offer outright. The prosecutor then offered individual deals to the other defendants, hoping that one might testify against Carruth. Kennedy and Abram refused, but Watkins agreed.
Of course he did. Which, I mean, if you're trying to finagle a deal, like...
Well, remember, he's the one who they brought face-to-face with Carruth in the interrogation room.
He was like, he knew he was going to get sold out anyways. Like,
yep. So he said he's going to do it first.
He's like, fine, on it. Let me do this.
Yep. The trial officially began on October 23rd, 2000. On the very first day, the prosecution presented their most compelling piece of evidence, Cherica Adams' 911 call. In that call, she directly implicated Rae Carruth in her own shooting. The lead prosecutor believed Cherica was the strongest witness for her own murder. And as the jury listened, many of them in tears, it seemed they silently agreed. Carruth's lawyer, David Rudolph, knew immediately that he and his team were facing an uphill battle. In his opening statement, Rudolph laid out a completely different theory. According to him, the real villain was
Vaughn. I was just thinking fancy Vaughn Brett Watkins.
So according to him, the real villain was I almost said Vaughn again. Was Brett Watkins, angry at Carruth for backing out of a massive marijuana deal. On the night of the shooting, Watkins, Rudolph argued, had been following Carruth and, in a fit of rage after Cherica allegedly flipped him off while driving, shot her.
It's like, okay, nice try. Good story, dude. But
tried to be creative, but...
That's my thing. Like, I'll give you props. You were being creative, but you're not meant to be in Hollywood.
Definitely not. So the theory was kind of believable, though. Watkins did have a history of drug dealing and of violence. For the first time in months, Carruth allowed himself a flicker of hope.
Shouldn't have done it.
Shouldn't have done it. So maybe, just maybe, Rudolph could pull off a miracle and beat the murder charge.
Here's my thing. Do you not know who the prosecutor and who the defense, like who they're going to actually bring on to the stands?
They should technically have like a witness list, correct?
Yeah, like...
But sometimes...
Yeah, they do it like a last minute thing, which I'm like...
Strategically.
Come on.
I agree.
Can't...
But sometimes they do. And it works.
Ugh. Ridiculous. You know what I miss?
What?
I was just thinking about how 7-Up should bring back their Shirley Temple. 7-Ups.
She misses the Shirley Temple 7-Up. 7-Up, if you're out there, bring them back. Her sad face. How can you say no to that?
They only had them for like
this long. They wanted you to stack them up,
and that was it. Well, you couldn't even, because it's like they were in the stores for like a month. Everybody liked them
before you could figure out you liked them.
Like, I think I got 2 whole cases from it, and my kids drank half of them.
That's it?
Yeah, 2 12-packs is all I got.
Oh yeah, that's not a lot.
Granted, I don't go to the grocery store very often, so that's not bad. But anyways,
the focal point of this alternative theory was a statement from a prison guard. Yeah,
that's solid.
Yes, seems that way.
Oh. You know what's even funnier?
What?
It's a female. Once again, a female.
That's exactly right. So I guess you can kind of tell what direction we're going here.
Yes, like, you idiot. So and I'm talking about her. Like, why involve yourself, Shirley?
That's right. Again, he's just got away with the ladies, apparently.
A charmer.
I don't think he was that good looking, personally.
Yeah.
Sergeant Shirley Riddle, who claimed that she overheard Watkins say, quote, "It was Ray's fault. If he had just given us the money, none of this would have happened." On top of that, Rudolph went after the 911 call itself, arguing that Cherica, traumatized and in shock, wasn't fully reliable about what she had seen.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's something that, I mean, I guess he's doing his job, so I get it.
Like,
but
you
man,
do the due diligence, and honestly, that is a true statement. There's like valid evidence stating when somebody's in like a shock trauma state, they're not the most reliable or accurate historians, but it's like, 1, she had the 911 call. 2, she testified, although that was probably in a state of shock as well.
As soon as she came out of surgery.
Yeah, and was able to clearly and accurately depict what happened.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
You idiots.
The opening statement achieved 2 things. It presented a plausible alternative theory, and it chipped away at Van Brett Watkins, the prosecutor's star witness. But Rudolph's plan had a major problem. Watkins wasn't the only star witness. There was also Michael Kennedy, who had spent 13 months in jail. At that point, Kennedy's options were limited. His lawyers and the prosecution couldn't agree on a plea deal, and the minimum sentence on the table was still 20 years. So Kennedy went for a Hail Mary. He reached out to prosecutors and offered to testify against Carruth without a plea deal.
Okay.
In return, he simply wanted to be treated fairly when his own trial came around.
Okay.
So very interesting choice here. I don't know that I recall another case that does this, but...
Yeah. I mean, he's basically saying, let's do the right, like, I'll do the right thing if y'all do, if you do right by me.
That's right. He's trusting them.
Like a gentleman's agreement.
Yes, very much. So everyone, including the prosecutors, was surprised, but they agreed. When Carruth watched Kennedy take the stand, his brief glimpse of optimism evaporated. This wasn't just a problem for his defense. It was a personal betrayal. He expected Watkins to look out for himself and flip, but Kennedy was supposed to be loyal, and Carruth had been wrong.
Yeah, because Kennedy was the one that he didn't offer any money or anything to.
That's right.
Like he just thought he was a shady guy that would do it based on his fame.
Well, and he called him his friend.
Yeah, and he was friends. Yeah, like his fame and his friendship. Like,
yep. Wrong.
That's what happens when you play with people's lives. When you're playing with somebody's life, you're gambling with someone's life.
It's gonna bite you.
You don't know how people are gonna actually react.
That's right. So Michael Kennedy took the stand and laid out his version of events. He told the jury that Carruth had asked to borrow his car and then threatened him if he refused. He described how they purchased the gun, and he walked the court through the details of exactly how the shooting happened. You know, this says something about Carruth, too, because literally he felt that they were friends, and Kennedy's like, he threatened me. Like, this is why I did this.
Yeah.
So,
like, his perception is a little, like,
skewed.
Flawed.
He lives in a whole different world.
Yeah. Not in reality.
Yep. His testimony was devastating for Carruth's defense. It directly contradicted everything in Rudolph's alternative theory and was so compelling that the prosecutors decided not to call Van Brett Watkins to testify at all. The The court also heard from Candace Smith, who recounted...
That's an interesting call.
But a good one.
Yeah.
Who recounted how Carruth had confessed his role in the shooting to her at the hospital. And a parade of ex-girlfriends appeared as character witnesses, testifying that Carruth was often moody, threatening, and vengeful, especially when dealing with potential pregnancies. So he just messed up in all the right ways. By the time the prosecution rested, things looked very grim for Carruth and his legal team.
What? That's what he gets. Like, serves you right.
That's right. They needed a bold move, and that's whenever they decided to put Watkins on the stand themselves. It was a high-risk strategy. Personally, not one I would have done.
I don't think that I would have gambled on it myself either, but I can understand if they're trying to build like credibility in their story by painting him this shady guy or like trying to set him off while he's on the stand. That's a whole different like...
It is. And I guess truly at this point, it's really their only move.
Yeah, like you only have one move and it's a Hail Mary. Like it is what it is.
Yep. So it was a risky strategy. Watkins' testimony could either strengthen their drug deal defense or crush it completely. Watkins intimidated everyone involved in the case. The judge even ordered extra security, a guard between Watkins and the jury, and another between him and the judge. And his legs were shackled. Dang.
I know. I mean, he's pretty scary looking.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he just looks like he was like unpredictable, like unstable.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. He was.
Yes, it might be an overkill, but at the same time, like... maybe not.
Maybe necessary. Even the prosecution was unnerved, confirming the defense's claim that Watkins was the true danger. Watkins testified for 2 days. Defiant, sharp, and most importantly, consistent. He withstood Rudolph's relentless attempts to dismantle his story. He stuck to his account of events without giving the defense any openings. He flatly denied Sergeant Riddle's testimony, asserting he never made the statement that she claimed.
Oh, Shirley, you messed up, man. Bet you lost your job.
Oh, but... And whenever Rudolph pressed him about why he didn't already have a gun to kill Adams and instead needed to go buy one that night, Watkins showed off his intimidating and violent nature. He snapped, saying,
I didn't need a gun. I would rip you like a rag doll.
He made one thing very clear while on the stand, more than anything, and that was he wanted Rae Carruth dead. Yeah.
Did you say to detention officer, I hope the bitch dies? Did you say that?
That's the bitch I was talking about. Rae Carruth. That's the bitch I was referring to.
Yeah. And I'm over here like, man, the way he just spoke on that, like... maybe you needed to have somebody between him and Carruth or like sitting right beside Carruth.
Imagine going into prison knowing you might be with this guy in prison, you know?
Or that he's already in prison somewhere and making friends.
Yep.
That are just as unhinged as he may be.
Quite possibly. Probably had to be friends with him. Which makes you question why Carruth was friends with him to begin with. Anyways, so Carruth and Rudolph initially viewed Watkins' outburst as a win. It proved just how unhinged he could be, the kind of person who might commit murder over trivial reasons. But Carruth wasn't sure that it would be enough to create doubt in the jury's mind. There was no hard evidence to support the drug deal gone bad theory, and the defense's strongest piece of evidence, the statement that Watkins supposedly made to Sergeant Riddle, crumbled when another prison guard testified that Riddle seemed unusually obsessed with Carruth, spending excessive time alone with him in his cell. Yeah. Her credibility was obviously compromised. Yeah. And with it, the defense's...
for good reason.
For very good reason. And with that, the defense's entire theory was also compromised. Yeah. If the trial revealed anything, it was that Carruth had a way of drawing women into his life and influencing them to do whatever he wanted, whether that meant sheltering a fugitive or potentially committing perjury.
Mm-hmm.
How stupid can you be? I mean, I cannot. Golly.
People are idiots. Like,
truly.
They just...
I mean, nobody can be worth that, right?
No, especially when they're, like, even if they're not going to jail, if you were to somehow miraculously, like, get out of this, like, his reputation is there. Like, he will always be seen as that. So, like, why involve yourself in that? It's not going to do anything beneficial for you.
I mean, I get, like, if you're proven innocent, then fine, you're proven innocent. But, again, you are literally putting everything that you have in your life out the window whenever you do something like this.
People don't forget, though. Like,
no, they don't, but I'm just trying to be inclusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. When it came time to deliberate, the jury was divided. 3 days in, they sent a note to the judge asking for further instructions. They were at an impasse. The judge told them to continue deliberating. Finally, after 4 days, the jury reached a verdict. On January 19th of 2001, the day before Carruth's 27th birthday, Rae Carruth stood in the courtroom to hear his fate. The jury found him guilty on 3 counts: discharging a firearm into an occupied vehicle, conspiracy to commit murder, and intent to kill an unborn child. However, they found him not guilty of first-degree murder.
Interesting.
So the jury agreed that Carruth was responsible for Cherica Adams' death, but they were unsure about the most serious charge, which could have carried the death penalty. So they compromised. No one was happy with the verdict. The prosecution obviously wanted a first-degree murder conviction, and the defense wanted an acquittal. And Carruth's dreams of returning to the football field were over. He was now a convicted felon.
Yeah.
The following Monday, the judge sentenced him to a minimum of 18 years and 11 months and a maximum of 24 years, without the possibility of early parole. Carruth's mother sat in the back of the courtroom, watching as the guards walked her son out. The man that she had raised was now beginning his life behind bars. In the following days, Michael Kennedy, Van Brett Watkins, and Samuel Abram all accepted plea deals. Kennedy was sentenced to a minimum of 11 years in prison, while Abram received just 90 days. Van Brett Watkins pled guilty to second-degree murder and was scheduled for release in 2046. He would have been 85 years old. Watkins, however, never made it that far. He died of natural causes in prison on December 3rd of 2023. For Rae Carruth, the trial was over, but the legal battles didn't end there. His lawyers appealed his conviction all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, arguing that Cherica Adams' testimony was impermissible because she was unable to be cross-examined in court.
Which, I mean, okay, good play.
Good play, I agree. Like I said, they're doing their job.
Good play, but a little ridiculous.
I agree both ways, you know?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Carruth's mother waged a legal fight to gain access to Chancellor Lee Adams, whose custody had been awarded to Sandra Adams.
Yeah.
The battle continued for years, until her final appeal was denied in 2006. Carruth also faced civil proceedings. Despite his attempts to avoid responsibility, he was required to provide for his son. In 2004, he was found liable for Cherica Adams' death in order to pay $5.8 million to the Adams family. The sum was largely symbolic, seeing as Carruth's NFL earnings were long gone and he was flat broke. But it was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Chancellor Lee Adams, the child at the center of this tragedy, suffered brain damage and cerebral palsy due to the traumatic circumstances of his birth. He requires full-time care and faces ongoing challenges with speaking and walking. But despite everything, he lives an active life with Sandra's support. He competes in the Special Olympics in a motorized wheelchair and has become an avid fan of the Carolina Panthers, carrying forward a connection to the team that once shaped his father's rise and fall. In February of 2018, just 6 months before his scheduled release, 44-year-old Rae Carruth wrote an open letter to Sandra Adams. While he continued to deny direct guilt in the shooting of her daughter, Cherica Adams, he did accept responsibility for her death and offered an apology. But even in his attempt at remorse, the letter revealed Carruth's deeply self-absorbed and selfish nature. He sent it to a news station saying he wanted to debunk Sandra Adams' claim that he had never apologized, and also floated the idea that he hoped to raise Chancellor after the release.
What?
Yeah. Why would you even think that you could do that?
I mean, you have rights to that, like,
exactly. Stop. After the letter was published, Sandra Adams made one clear statement. Rae Carruth would never have custody of Chancellor. The boy would never be raised by the man who had tried to kill him. Carruth responded again, reluctantly giving up the idea of being part of his son's life. Still, he expressed hope that Sandra would allow Chancellor to meet him at least once before he left prison. Just FYI, she never did. And rightfully so. On the morning of December 22nd, 2018, 44-year-old Rae Carruth was released from prison. As he emerged from the prison gates, he was greeted by his mother and other members of his family. But Chancellor Lee Adams was not one of them. Just 6 days after Carruth's release, Chancellor and Sandra Adams were seated in the VIP section at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, cheering on their beloved Carolina Panthers, celebrating life, resilience, and the moments that truly mattered.
Listen. And this is where we're going to leave you.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Taylor.
And remember,
it's not just crime.
It's pure malice. Athletes gone dark.
Athletes gone dark. Woo-hoo. Thanks again for listening to Pure Malice. We'll be back next week for another case just for you.
Woo! You can find all episodes of Pure Malice on Spotify, or you can watch the full video episodes on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Pure Malice Podcast. See you next time.